Welcome to Asian Star Trend. I'm Hannah, and today we've got some hot and trending news to share with you. Zhai Yiying Wang Chenpeng in Twilight blooms on the spring branch. When a cunning little fox meets a dominant CEO in the crowded world of short dramas, Twilight blooms on the spring branch stands out for one irresistible reason: the push and pull chemistry between Zhai Yiying and Wang Chenpeng. She plays the little fox clever, unpredictable, and never quite as innocent as she seems. He embodies the archetypal older CEO, poised, commanding, and used to getting his way. Together, they turn a familiar romance trope into a duel of wits that keeps viewers hooked from their very first encounter. The tension crackles. A glance across the room feels like a challenge, a casual remark hides layers of meaning. Every interaction becomes a game. Who will outmaneuver the other? Zhai's portrayal makes her character impossible to pin down, balancing playfulness with calculated moves. Wang counters with a performance that blends authority with flashes of vulnerability, giving his domineering persona unexpected depth. What makes this pairing so addictive is the sense that the emotional stakes run deeper than either character admits. Beneath the banter, there's a slow build toward trust and perhaps love, but neither side wants to be the first to yield. It's this unspoken battle that turns each episode into more than just a romantic setup. It's a study in emotional strategy. Viewers leave each installment not just entertained, but intrigued, analyzing subtle gestures, rewatching lines for hidden subtext, and debating who is truly in control. In a genre often driven by instant gratification, Twilight blooms on the spring branch dares to make its audience wait, rewarding patience with the satisfaction of a story that seduces both heart and mind. She stood at his door with a book of poems and a dangerous smile. Zhai isn't just waiting, she's staging an ambush. Cradling a poetry collection in her hands, she blocks the entrance to the Zhou family home and, in the softest voice, calls out, "Uncle Joe." But her eyes, shimmering with intelligence and intent, tell a different story. Who could possibly refuse a young woman who is both breathtakingly beautiful and disarmingly direct? She doesn't flirt in circles, she throws the ball straight, knowing exactly how to unsettle the man she's targeting. What follows is not the innocent romance of youth, but a slow-burning game of emotional brinkmanship. Every glance, every pause between words, becomes a calculated move. Zhai's black-bellied cunning meets Joe's fiercely protective dominance in a match of adult-level ambiguity, where attraction is never denied but never surrendered. It's a combination that feels dangerously addictive: the scheming woman who knows her power, and the older man who both shields and challenges her. Their push and pull is a masterclass in restrained intimacy, the kind that leaves viewers leaning forward, desperate to see who will break first. This isn't about grand gestures or sweeping declarations. It's about the way her fingers linger on the spine of the book, the half-second his eyes linger too long, and the electric charge of knowing both are fully aware of the game they're playing. Who could have predicted that Beijing's most untouchable star would fall this hard? In Twilight blooms on the spring branch, Zhai Yiying transforms into Zhai, a woman with a vengeance list tucked neatly in her pocket and the nerve to walk straight into the lion's den. Her mission is clear, her courage unshakable: dismantle the empire of Beijing's richest man, a man whose very presence radiates the unmistakable authority of a dead-type figure. Zhai doesn't go in alone. She teams up with the once glamorous, now disgraced heiress Su Tian, forming a revenge sisters pact that's as strategic as it is emotionally charged. Together, they become an unlikely force, one driven by cold calculation, the other by a hunger for redemption. What makes this setup so gripping isn't just the high-stakes target they've chosen, but the dangerous chemistry it breeds. This is no simple cat-and-mouse chase, it's a layered battle of wits, with every move calculated and every line laced with double meaning. And then there's him, Zhou Kong, the ultimate prize and the ultimate obstacle. Charismatic yet unyielding, he is the kind of man who doesn't simply block your path, he changes its course entirely. The more Zhai tries to corner him, the more he pulls her into a game where control is never where you think it is. The result? A slow burn, high-tension dynamic that has viewers questioning, is this still revenge, or has something far more dangerous taken root? A textbook masterclass in seduction played like a game of chess. The opening scene of Twilight blooms on the spring branch wastes no time in setting the tone. Zhai, played by Zhai Yiying, stands at the Zhou family's front door, cradling a poetry collection as if it were a love letter. In the softest, most delicate voice, she breathes out, "Uncle Joe." Her gaze, however, tells another story, one brimming with calculation and quiet ambition. Across from her, Wang Chenpeng, CEO, remains the picture of composure. His face is unreadable, his voice even, as if the moment barely registers. And yet, his fingers betray him, idly stroking the edge of his teacup. It's the kind of small, telling detail that suggests he's already deciphered the little fox's game and decided to play along. What follows is a battle without raised voices or overt threats. Instead, it's a duel of glances, pauses, and words with sharpened edges hidden under velvet tones. The younger woman tests boundaries with a mix of feigned innocence and bold provocation. The older man deflects with an elegance that's as much a challenge as it is a defense. This is at its finest not the desperate lure of cheap tricks, but the deliberate art of keeping your opponent hooked, knowing they can walk away, but won't. By the time the scene fades, the audience is already into deep, caught between wanting to see who wins and suspecting that, in this game, winning might not be the point at all. After all, who could refuse a beautiful, brilliant girl who dares to play straight? The push and pull between Bai Zhi's Zhai Yiying and Zhou Kong Wang Chenpeng is the kind of high-wire act only adults can pull off. She advances with careful calculation, testing his boundaries step by step. He responds with half-hearted resistance, the kind that feels more like an invitation, quietly laying the groundwork for something inevitable. Their chemistry isn't loud, it's exquisitely restrained. Each move is a tease, each pause a provocation. You're never quite sure if they're closing the distance or keeping it just far enough to maintain the thrill. Then comes that parting scene, the moment that turns playful intrigue into something that hurts to watch. Bai Zhi, eyes rimmed red, forces a look of stubborn defiance, as if refusing to let vulnerability slip through. Across from her, Zhou Kong's Adam's apple shifts with the words he doesn't say. He stands there, silent, his restraint almost painful to witness through the screen. You can feel it, that suffocating mix of longing and pride, the ache of wanting to speak but not daring to break the fragile equilibrium. It's not the grand, sweeping gestures of typical drama romance, but the heavy, suspended emotion of two people caught between desire and self-preservation. It's in moments like these that Twilight blooms on the spring branch transcends its revenge romance premise, turning into something more, a study of the tension between what's said, what's felt, and what's left unsaid. Don't be fooled by the early sugar, the real hook comes later. At first, Twilight blooms on the spring branch plays out like a confection, sweet enough to make your teeth ache. But the real sting arrives in the second half, when class differences crash into the romance, turning playful banter into something raw and heartbreaking. It's here that Zhai Yiying and Wang Chenpeng prove why they're more than just a good-looking pairing. Together, they take what could have been sweet in the shards of glass melodrama and elevate it into something layered and lived in. Every scene is a delicate balance, her sly, black-bellied charm against his fiercely protective authority, and the result is an intoxicating mix of power, vulnerability, and undeniable chemistry. This isn't just about pretty faces locked in a cliché. It's about watching two actors push against the edges of their characters, mining the smallest gestures for meaning, a glance that softens at the last second, a line delivered with just enough hesitation to hint at the words left unsaid. And for fans of the older man, younger woman trope, this CP is pure gold. The dynamic is addictive, the tension electric, and the payoff more than worth the ride. If you haven't dived in yet, now's the time, because this pairing doesn't just meet expectations. They make you forget you had any in the first place. What do you think about today's content? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and if this is your first time watching our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with exclusive news about your favorite movie and music stars. Thank you so much for watching.